So a while back I found myself looking around my local Walmart, Christmas shopping for my kids, and I came by the Switch section and naturally had to stop and check it out. Now, my kids like to play some of my Switch games, and for the most part, they're actually really good about making sure they take care of it. We actually have two Switches right now, not because they needed to have their own, but because I had a Switch and they would play my Switch. And one day, seemingly overnight, it just stopped working. Well, it worked, but it would only connect to one controller at a time. And I bet you can imagine using Joy-Cons. That's kind of a pain. So after going to Nintendo's customer service site, they told me that I had to send it in the mail to get it fixed, and that I should expect 6 weeks for it to come back. And I knew I wasn't gonna be able to wait 6 weeks. I could only imagine my kids were gonna be bugging me for the entire 6 weeks. Boy, to my surprise when it came in 2 weeks. And I had already bought another Switch because I didn't think that any of us would want to wait the entire 6 weeks. So I thought, well, I might as well get them their own game. They like playing my games, but they don't have anything that's really theirs. So when I was at Walmart, I noticed a very familiar brand. Paw Patrol. My kids love Paw Patrol, and I'm sure anyone else out there with kids can tell you just how huge the sensation is for Paw Patrol. We don't even really need to talk about it. I decided it would be foolish to not get this game for them, especially because I had seen it at the store before, and it was going for $40. And when I saw it on sale for $20, I sinned that day. I decided to take a look at this game inside and out, and tell you guys my experience with it. I wanted to see what I was paying for and what I was getting my kids, and I'm sure if my parents had played through every game that I had, they might have turned a lot of them back in, actually. Oh, and before I get too much farther into this, all the footage you're going to see is from before an update. It said somewhere on their website that they were going to update the game and fix it, but I couldn't bother myself to play through that whole thing again, and I'm not sorry. And I've seen my kids playing it anyway ever since the update, and I haven't noticed anything different. At least I haven't.
Let's slap that card in and boot this bad boy up. Calling the game simply Paw Patrol isn't accurate. Apparently there is another Paw Patrol game before this one, made by the same developers, Outright Games, or OG Outright Games, and Drakkar? But I'm not going to play that, nor will I buy it. I'm going to assume it suffers from first game syndrome. The full title is Paw Patrol Mighty Pups Save Adventure Bay! Exclamation mark and everything. Immediately we have not crashed 4 loading times that at least provide sometimes smoothly animated silhouettes. My cat doesn't seem to like them very much though. Let's go ahead and start the first level. The meteor, huh?
Okay, I know a little more than I'm letting on. I believe this is supposed to be tying in with an hour-long special episode or something that my kids watched a few years ago. And I don't know if it follows the episode to a T, but I vaguely remember a meteor and them getting mighty pup powers. So this is probably just an adaptation of that.
Well, so far so good. It looks like an episode of the show. It smells like an episode of the show. This is almost a frame-by-frame recreation. Ready for it?
Rocky!
Well, that was anticlimactic. The show puts a little more emphasis on their roll call. Otherwise, they reanimate the show's rollout sequence, if you will, down to a T. I do kind of wish this was the character select screen. You know, like Mickey Speedway USA, anyone? But this would make it sort of a moot point, because you only get 2 pups per stage, and you get to swap between the 2 on the fly. Oh, switching characters on the fly? Kind of like Lego Star Wars. I say kinda because otherwise it would imply it's as fun as Lego Star Wars, but more importantly, we have the drop-in, drop-out co-op, and each character being able to interact with things unique to that character. See? Just like that.
Yeah, why did I expect more than this?
Any given time you want a friend to help you in the adventure, just pick up the controller and press start. Or plus, but you get it. Oh, and be warned that you should never press that button for any other reason. It crashes the game. Every time. Nope, I'm not kidding. I'm not making it up. I don't know why. Well, upon starting the first level, you can't actually start co-op play. I thought the game was broken. I wasn't wrong.
I explicitly bought this so they could play it at the same time together. So I was pretty upset this wasn't working for me.
But don't worry, a solution is provided on their website for you. This isn't a solution. These are directions my grandma gives me to find my aunt's house for the holidays.
Hey, so how do I get to your place again? It's a left at the McDonald's, right? And right at the purple fire hydrant. What if it's not painted purple anymore? Can you just send me the ad? Okay. Right after the church. Alright, I'm listening, Grandma.
This happens every time you play level 1, by the way. If there is a way to turn it off, I haven't found it yet. Got pup treats all over to collect. The game keeps track of which ones you've already collected in previous runs by changing their color. That's nice. So we made it to the meteor and get zapped with superpowers, tailored suits and all. That was some pretty handy lightning. And a writer tells us to get it back to the lookout. Now we get to be mighty and tap buttons. Just follow the commands on screen. They aren't hard to do. It's habit to keep mashing the button, but I assure you it isn't making you go any faster. They didn't anticipate your toddler,
or my toddlers,
to be able to mash like it's Mario Party. Well, that was just serving as the tutorial, I'm sure, building up to the real meat of the game. So let's dive right into another jittery tutorial window. I think it's shy. Dialogue does the same thing, like on this lava level I did, where Ryder drops off the pups and flies away just as he begins speaking. Talk about sink or swim work environments. So we just watched Ryder and 2 pups get into a plane, but now we're going to play as Sky and Temple Runner flying. Oh well, whatever adds variety to the gameplay, I suppose.
Don't look at me like that.
We get to the resort, and now I can just walk and jump around. So all of these seem pretty one and the same here. I mean, they're all themed differently. Yeah, your typical beach, snow, lava, grass, and whatever levels. What I will say is that it's really cool that each level actually feels like they're in their own adventure, each level being their own standalone episode, if you will. We get a section here where an avalanche is happening, and Chase turns into Mighty Chase to get across a bridge before the avalanche takes it out like an episode of Speed Racer, and Chase gets super speed. Oh, this is so fast. Wait, is that moving slower? Okay, changed my mind. This is awesome. Look, you can't mess it up. It just makes it look cooler. Sure, the effects leave a little to be desired, but it's enough that kids should find at least a few pounds of enjoyment. I mean, it made me smile. Not sure that's hard to do. Sure, there isn't much really going on here, but you gotta understand that this blue speedy pup with the lightning shooting out of the back of him and everything moving slowly around him is exactly the kind of things my kids want to see in their action game fresh after watching the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Hey, wait. Everest just waltzed her happy ass up here? Oh, the irony that someone who's supposed to put out fires has the ability to set things on fire now. Well, doesn't that make you useless at your job? At least they are being true to the source material, he said to himself in a room by himself, just to remember that no one else cared. And a cutesy x-ray machine. I never understood the implications of these things. Are we radiating the shit out of Jake's leg right now? Or is it my eyes? The lava level has me asking way too many questions. What possessed this monkey to go all the way out here in the lava? And brought the whole monkey family too? Were you looking for bananas? Oh, and Ryder is a dirty liar.
Waterfall.
A waterfall? You're all good pups. Who wants to celebrate this rescue with a swim? At least your children won't really have much of a chance to get lost. I mean, some of these levels equate to pretty much hallways. Alright, the jungle level is pretty cool. Tracker here has a much better sense of hearing than the other pups, if you didn't know. And they decide to keep it true to the source material. How many times am I going to say that about a toy line? So only Tracker gets the little arrow telling him where to go.
Terrific.
My kids discovered a glitch in this level where you look for Chicoletta in the town square. They were playing the game and would occasionally just put the controller down, run into another room for a while, and pick it back up again later. I don't know what caused it, and I haven't been able to recreate it, and I don't want to spend another 8 hours trying to make it happen, but apparently if you wait too long to finish this level, the water that comes out of Marshall's water cannons turns bright pink. Not sure why, but take my word for it, it's there. So it looks like the last level of this game is a big all-star bash, as it should be, with a giant robot stomping around town, and we're gonna team up Avengers style. So the mayor of the neighboring and rival town of Foggy Bottom Bay, whose name is Mayor Longbottom, has a nephew. You're expected to already know this, but they told you already his name's Harold. So at least you know there's a Harold stomping around town. This is also ripped straight from one of the TV specials. For those of you who aren't familiar with the show, these guys are the personification of suck and annoying and very petty. That's all. You're caught up. Ryder shows up and says, "I love you 3000. You're a good pup. Let's fight this robot," and acts like the ringleader. You know, I'm pretty sure I chose the US version of English, but I'm still seeing a lot of alternate spellings. Anyway, getting more tempted to see what happens if I choose UK English. So here's our big showdown. He doesn't look like a confident threat. Looks more like a kid about to break his new toy. Zuma's little water ha-meh-ha makes me laugh. I used to do the same thing with my mom's garden hose when I was a kid. So that's pretty cute.
Really? No one else? Just me? Whatever.
Then we pop the lid off his big old Pepsi off his back, and Rocky uses a super litter claw to unrealistically hoist the meteor out. Credits roll, skip credits, bam, show's over. It's really cute that Rocky is essentially Green Lantern. He's got all his tools that work in their magical hologram style, but apparently I've been using this wrong my whole life.
Whew. Let's pretend that didn't happen and go right on into the minigames.
When I found this game, I told my wife straight up, if Pup Pup Boogie isn't a minigame, I'm going to be pissed. My wife hasn't stopped laughing at me since. But lo and behold, there it is. Pup Pup Puppin' Boogie. What's wrong? Don't know what I'm talking about? Well, apparently, in another timeline, the right timeline, Konami was pumping out Dance Dance Revolution for quadrupeds. But don't worry, they thought ahead and gave them 2 more buttons to deal with. I can only imagine what Castlevania or Silent Hill looks like in this universe. Actually, I regret ever saying that, and I'm not going to sleep for weeks now. For some reason, this minigame is only one player. The second player is always a CPU, and it's far too simple to give it any of your time besides your children watching them dance and hearing the song that I'm definitely not playing for you, but it is an earworm, and it gets an A+ from me just from being here. Why is it only one player? There's always 2 people playing the game, even in the show. Why couldn't they give us the opportunity to play side by side? The only other one that I think is worth playing, which my kids further proved when I discovered it's the only other one they bother playing again, is the obstacle course. Through the lens of a toddler, this is a strong minigame. Diving with Zuma? Turning left and right is a little slow, but man, this just isn't fun. It's a fetch quest for finding Captain Turbot's things because we haven't seen him in the entire main game and because he's as blind as Velma. Glad I'm not that blind. This just makes me wish I was playing Crash or Kirby, but at least Zuma gets a chance to do his thing. Jump rope?
No thanks.
Mr. Porter's Feast?
I couldn't possibly take another bite. I'm stuffed. Not a great time. Not worth your time. I mean, if you're a kid and you like Paw Patrol, or if your kid likes Paw Patrol, this would be great. If you're familiar with a couple of Marios, you know, you should be able to work your way around it. You're just running and jumping. But, God, don't play this. You didn't need me to tell you that, right? It's just taking a couple action figures and toys and making them run around and jump. And I mean, really, what grown-up has fun doing that? Well, not me. This doesn't count, right? But despite all the things I've said, the game, it works, and it feels like the show, and my kids enjoy it, and I guess that's really all that matters at the end of the day. So I'd say mission accomplished. And by the way, I only said source material thrice in this whole video. Thank you guys so much for just listening to some dad ramble about a game he got his kids. I know you probably had way better things to be doing with your time than listening to this guy. Well, if you liked what you saw, consider hitting like, maybe subscribe. I might do another thing like this. And if I don't, hey, I won't bother you. So go ahead and click subscribe anyway. Right? Is that how it works? Before I get out of here and let you guys get to that blooper reel, I just want you guys to see that after the update did happen, it did change its name to Mighty Pups Salva Adventure Bay, rather than Save Adventure Bay. And no, my settings didn't change. See, all my other games are, in fact, in English. They're not changed, just the only word in there that's not trademarked. So, alright, that's all. Have a good one.
Oh, I was putting up a fight. No!
Your earrings aren't moving around too much. Stop it. What are you doing? Stop. Mario, you're messing up this bit. Mario, I need you to... That's not a Goomba, Mario. I put the right one on there. I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.